take you back now to where all the developments are unfolding around the legacy and the life of the IFP founder. We've got senior reporter Siphamandla Goge, who is on the ground and has been speaking to various stakeholders throughout the afternoon, getting a sense of what it is that Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi has left behind. No doubt, Siphamandla, a very complex man with complex ideals, one would say at some stage, but he was steadfast in his ideals and he never shied away from a fight. That is something that has clearly come out of the reflection on his life. But there are fears now, Siphamandla Goge, and I wonder what those on the ground with you are saying. What happens to the royal family without its anchor, that being the traditional prime minister? And what happens to the future of the IFP without its anchor, that being the founder of the IFP post the elections? Difficult questions to answer, I'm sure, there.
Indeed, a very complex man with a complex legacy that will be the subject of intense scrutiny, debate, and just, people talking about what he leaves behind. Now, it's difficult to unpack and analyze Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi's legacy, focusing on the post-1994 dispensation. You need to go back during the struggle period. That's where some people say his legacy would be very divisive, very controversial. He has been accused of being on the other side of history, an allegation that he has, continuously denied during his life, saying he was not an apartheid collaborator. He fought for the liberation of this country. So it's not surprising that on the day when he passed away, many people had to go back and reflect on his life and his legacy. So he was a man of many hats. To many people, he was the founder of the IFP. To some people, the traditional prime minister of the Zulu nation. To others, he was just a leader that they looked up to. He was loved by many, respected by others, but there are those who really hated him for what they say he did during the struggle days. So this is a man whose legacy will be very complex. This is a man whose legacy will be debated years from now. He has said so himself, by the way. When I've interviewed him on a number of occasions, he has said to me, Mr. Goge, I'm not really worried about what people say about me. History will be the judge and history will absolve me. And he has said, when I asked him how he would like to be remembered, he told me somewhere in Durban that he would love to be remembered as a simple man who lived and worked amongst his people, who lived and passed away in the presence and vicinity of his people in the rural village of Emahlabathini, Kwapindangene. This is where he lived, despite making it in life in terms of becoming a political leader whose party at some point was in charge of the province of KwaZulu-Natal for almost a decade, from 1994 to 2004. Who's been a member of parliament for many years, if my memory serves me well. If he is not the longest serving parliamentarian, probably he is one of the longest serving. So this is a man whose legacy is very complex, but like you alluded and touched on it earlier on, there are various stages and components of his life which are political, and others have got to do with culture and tradition. Before I answer your questions, I want our viewers to take a listen to what his son, that is Prince Sizwe Zuzifa Buthelezi, had to say about his father's legacy. Take a listen to what he said when I interviewed him on the 27th of August. And, okay, I'm told that we won't be able to listen to that. Let's move on. Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi told me that he would love to be remembered as a simple man who lived and worked amongst these people. But most importantly, when it comes to the political future of the IFP and political life of the IFP, I think it was in 2017 or 2019, I can't remember correctly, where he told his party's delegates, branches and structures in Ulundi that he fears that he will not see the next chapter of the IFP and the future of the IFP. But he said he was happy with his legacy. Having reflected on his legacy, he told the branch delegates who were gathered there to say he is happy with the foundation that he has laid. Remember, this is a party that has faced so many political troubles and challenges. let's rewind a little bit. When there were internal divisions within the IFP, many people are not aware that the IFP is one of the deeply divided political parties in South Africa. It has had to face a number of challenges, and those that had to do with the issue of leadership challenges. There was their national chairperson at the time, Dr. Zibajiane, very popular within and among party structures. He was tipped to take over from Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. There was a fallout, he left. Then came Zanelega Magwaza Msibi. Zanelega Magwaza Msibi became the national chair of the IFP, and then when Zanelega Magwaza Msibi was rising and many people were tipping her to become one of the possible successors to Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, but at the same time Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi had some issues and it would appear that he was not ready to hand over the baton. So what happened was, with Zanelega Magwaza Msibi, she had to go and form the National Freedom Party, which became a threat to the IFP and challenged the IFP's status quo and hegemony in the Zululand district. As we speak today, the Nongoma local municipality is under the governance of the NFP together with the ANC and the EFF. Now, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi has seen the IFP facing those challenges. There have been splinter groups and a number of breakaway parties. Dr. Zibajiane left the IFP to form what became known at the time as NADECO, and after that then there was SADECO, there was the NFP. So Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi has seen a fair share of parties that have emerged from the IFP due to divisions within the IFP. So when he was ready to hand over the baton to the new leader, then Velenkosini Hlabisa was elected the leader of the IFP, with Prince Mangosuthu retaining the status of President Emeritus. It's something that those who support him say they were not going to let go of his political wisdom. They still needed him. Now let's park the political aspect of his life. We move now to another aspect and his contribution to the role of the traditional prime minister of the Zulu nation. He has served 3 AmaZulu kings, King Bhekuzulu, King Zwelithini, and King Misuzulu. But history will record that there have always been tensions between Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi and at least 2 of AmaZulu kings, and one of those being King Goodwill Zwelithini Bhekuzulu. For a number of years, they were not on speaking terms. They had issues. They had, a number of contestations that they were dealing with, but they had to mend that relationship and they became close again. It's something that Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi himself spoke about when the king of AmaZulu nation, King Zwelithini, passed away. So Prince Mangosuthu has considered that indeed there were tensions between him and King Zwelithini at some point. Now, with King Zwelithini's passing, they had to come back now with Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi playing a leading role during the transition when King Misuzulu ascended to the throne. Those who support him say at least history will be kind to him when it comes to his role in the Zulu royal family and the Zulu nation, because he is regarded as someone who stood for what was right and for what is right. Why am I saying that? History records it that when there were those who did not want to give King Zwelithini the throne at the time as the rightful heir to the throne, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi is one of few senior royals who stood and supported King Zwelithini. Hence, when you listen to the praise singer, or rather to the praise singers praising King Zwelithini, they always throw in Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi's name, saying unesibindi Buthelezi owakhuthalela umntakandaba bemcokofula bethu uZwelithini kayokubusa kayokubankosi. Simply put, you were brave, Buthelezi, for defending and fighting for King Zwelithini when many people were saying he was not going to rule, he was not going to become the king. And on that aspect of the Zulu royal family and AmaZulu history, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, as the traditional prime minister, was at the center of that succession when King Bhekuzulu passed away, with King Zwelithini having to ascend to the throne. When King Zwelithini passed away, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi was once again brought into the center of the succession debate and the transition period in the Zulu royal family. Many people will remember how he was vocal in fighting for the current reigning king of AmaZulu, Misuzulu Kazwelithini, to say he's the rightful heir to the throne, even going to the extent of writing and deposing affidavits in support of the king, as there is an ongoing legal battle over the throne which will go to the courts next month. It's very strange if you take into account how Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi passes away on the day when there is a reed dance ceremony. He's regarded as someone who pushed and prioritized the issue of heritage and culture, even at the time when many people were saying it's backwards to basically be proud of who you are, be proud of your culture, heritage and tradition. Is regarded as a symbol. Some people will dismiss him and say he was a symbol of Zulu nationalism in a country whereby there should be one nation. But that's who Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi was. So the latest is meetings are underway. There are talks of him being granted an official funeral. President Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa will have to confirm that. The province of KwaZulu-Natal is in communication with the presidency. A memorial service will be underway either on Wednesday or Thursday. After that, the funeral arrangements will be announced by the family, but after those meetings that are back-to-back.
And of course, until then, we wait for you to bring us developments around the proceedings there. That is senior reporter Siphamandla Goge providing extensive context as to the life and the legacy that was created by Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, and to some extent answers the question, what now for the IFP, but also for the AmaZulu nation.